Hi, everybody. Welcome to the March Madness Great Sports Debate. We've got Villanova going against Michigan in the Sweet 16. I'm Dave Bontempo. I'm here in New Jersey. We can't bet on St. Peter's in the Sweet 16 round, but I know a couple guys who can weigh in on that Villanova-Michigan game. We've got Pete Amato, the managing editor of Play Pennsylvania and also editor for Why Eagles Why, and Paul Costanzo, managing editor for Play Michigan. You know where we're going with this, right? Pennsylvania, Michigan. The great state debate starts next. We start the great state debate. Please hit like and subscribe so you can be notified about all future videos that we do on Why Eagles Why and on all the sites, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan. There are a lot of dynamic things going on. So Pete and Paul have agreed on a format that they will debate a topic about the states for 30 seconds to 45 seconds. They'll make their point on each topic. I'll be the arbiter. I'll be objective, try to say who won. Then we go to the next round. Total points will win it. All right, guys, we'll start it off. Local celebrities. Which state has the best local celebrities? Paul, we're going to start with you on this one.
All right, thanks, Dave. I think everybody is well aware of Motown and the Motown legends that we have that come from the great state of Michigan, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross. But there's some others. We have the market cornered on mustaches in Michigan. Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds. You can't beat that. We got the market cornered on musicians who go by a single name. Madonna, Eminem, Lizzo is from Michigan. I literally found that out today. So that's fantastic. If you were a fan of the great Monday Night Wars in professional wrestling in the late 90s, we needed Michigan for that. Kevin Nash, Eric Bischoff, right here from this state. And we have a literal G.I. Joe who is from Michigan in Sergeant Slaughter. So it's going to be tough to beat us.
Well, I've got to tell you, if Kid Rock and Bob Seger don't even make the list, that is a lineup. Okay, Pete, how about you in Pennsylvania?
Well, Pennsylvania is known for their greats. We have the greatest everything, right? And it starts with celebrities. We have the greatest basketball players, right? Michigan may have Magic Johnson, but we have Kobe Bryant and Wilt Chamberlain. We also have two of the top three greatest quarterbacks of all time. That's Dan Marino and Joe Montana. Plus, we have arguably the greatest actor in the last 15 years. That's Will Smith. And right now, he's the greatest comedian. And I don't think anybody's even close, Kevin Hart. But my favorite, and certainly last, but certainly not least, we have the greatest action star of all time who grew up in Philadelphia, also wrote, directed, and starred in my favorite movie ever, Rocky, Sly Stallone.
Oh, some big numbers there. I'll tell you, that's a tough one. Here's how I'll weigh in on the tie break. You both have a great list, but this one will have to go to Paul because he stayed in the celebrity category. Pete, some of you guys will spill over into sports, as great as they are. So Paul gets a point, but a great argument by both in round one. Round two of the great state debate. We go to attractions in Pennsylvania and Michigan. And Pete, we start with you in round two for Pennsylvania. Sell the Keystone State.
The Keystone State. Yeah, Pennsylvania, we have it all. We have a little bit of everything. You head 1 hour in each direction, whether it's north, south, east, or west, and you'll probably run into a new different destination or an amazing attraction. So let's head up north to hit the slopes in the Poconos. Poconos are beautiful any time of year, but especially in the winter, so you can go skiing or snowboarding. Let's head a little bit south. And of course, Philadelphia, the birthplace of America, the greatest city in the United States. I know New York might have to say about that, but not even close. Head west, hit the Steel City. I mean, I'm not that big of a fan of their teams, but it's a beautiful city, a lot of history. And then you head a little bit east and you hit the beautiful beaches of New Jersey. They're about an hour away. A lot of Pennsylvania residents, they go on vacation at the New Jersey beaches, and you can even take a day trip. That's how close it is. So we have a little bit of everything. You can't really beat it.
All right, Paul. Pete has made a compelling argument for Pennsylvania. Go to bat for Michigan.
Yeah, at first, I think that you mentioned Philly and New York as the greatest cities in America.
Well,
Detroit.
Philly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, Detroit deserves some credit here. The Renaissance in Detroit in the past decade or so has been amazing. You got the casinos now downtown. You've got Greektown. All the locals, all the sports teams are right there now. It's pretty incredible what they've got going on there. But when you're talking summertime, you want to be in Michigan. If you have ever tried to rent an Airbnb in Traverse City or Petoskey or Holland, anywhere in a coastal town, for us, it's the Great Lakes coasts, it's impossible to get one in Michigan in June, July, or August because it's that popular. It's the place to be. The weather is amazing here in the summer. We will not talk about the weather in the winter, but it is just a fantastic place to be. It's the best place to vacation. And like I said, when you combine that with Detroit and all of that has to offer, you really can't beat Michigan.
Well, in this round, Paul, you did a great job arguing for Michigan. I think Pete had a little bit more to work with his natural resources and his lineup. And round two goes to Pete with Pennsylvania. Good job by both of you guys. The great state debate, round three, hot and heavy. Pete Amato and Paul Costanzo going at it with Michigan and Pennsylvania. The two basketball teams meet in the Sweet 16, but some of their advocates are going at it right here. Okay, round three comes up. It's the food. We had a little organizational meeting, and if the guys need a little bit of leeway to make their point, we're going to allow it. Paul, we start with you. Round three, food, Michigan. Bring it on.
So the big thing lately for us, and there's been a big push, is for the Detroit style pizza has made its way, I think, more nationally. Pizza Hut tried it. They did not do it correctly. But they tried to mimic Detroit style pizza because it's so good. And Buddy's is the original, the square pizza, the crunch plus like the soft. It's amazing. When you get it right, it's incredible. But my main one is Coney dogs, Detroit style Coney dogs. You have not lived until you have been to Lafayette, Coney Island at 2 a.m. and you get a guy delivering you 2 Coneys with chili, mustard, and onions, and he's got 7 more plates up on this arm as he's delivering you those Coneys. It's absolutely the best thing in the world. You cannot top it.
All right. Good argument for Michigan. Pete, what about Pennsylvania?
See, Pennsylvania has the best food. For one thing, it's because other states constantly trying to duplicate Pennsylvania food favorites. It's sad, really. Let's take something simple as the soft pretzel. It's soft, it's chewy, and cheap. You can't beat it. I mean, often imitated, never duplicated. I mean, I've had soft pretzels all around the country, and usually just tastes like a stale bagel, right? Water ice. Not many people know really what water ice is, but it seems simple enough to make. Nope. So what I tell other states, and I'll tell Michigan, stick to your shaved ice and stick to your slush puppies, because water ice is ours. Also, let's go back to pizza. Pizza is supposed to be round, not square. Tomato pies are square. Tomato pies are a Pennsylvania thing. And if I wanted a soggy Michigan pan pizza, I would just go to Pizza Hut. So I'm not really digging the pizza. But obviously, last but not least, I was going to say this. It's the Philly cheesesteak. They're not only the most iconic food in Philly and Pennsylvania, They're one of the most iconic foods in the entire country. And again, often imitated, never duplicated. How many Michigan restaurants offer a Philly cheesesteak on their menu? Get your own food. It's ours.
Well, that may have been the tie break right there because you both did an excellent job. The tourism board on each state wants you to have a spot on their team, but a Philly cheesesteak in another state, that might be the edge for you, Pete. Well argued by both. Round 4 of the great state debate. Pete, you're up next with the sports teams. Bring it on for Pennsylvania.
All right. Before we get into the sports, let's talk about the fans, obviously. And when it comes to the fans, it's not even close. You take the fans of Philly, who are already the most passionate fans, and then just add them with the Pittsburgh fans. And so game over there with the fans. Moving on to each league, MLB, I'm a huge baseball fan. I love the Phillies, but this one's hard considering how many World Series the Tigers have been to. However, the Phillies have 32 Hall of Famers, while the Tigers only have 21. Let's move on. NFL. Okay, Steelers, Eagles, Lions. I'm not going to go there. We'll just go to the NHL. We'll head to the NHL on that one. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. The Red Wings, I don't know, they have the most Stanley Cups ever. It's hard to argue that, but the Red Wings aren't the ones who beat the crap out of the unbeatable Red Army Soviets. So you got that. And with the NBA, it's pretty even, but the Sixers have 225 wins and 157 losses versus the Detroit Pistons. They both have 3 championships, but it might come down to that regular season record.
All right, Paul, go at it.
So yeah, right now is not a great time for Detroit professional sports. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but our past and some of our recent past has been incredible. You mentioned the Red Wings, and at the late 90s, early 2000s, they were the dominant team in the NHL, the Russian Five, Steve Eisman, Brendan Shanahan, that crew, fantastic, right? The Pistons, you got the going to work Pistons with Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace. You had the bad boy Pistons with Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars, Bill Lambier, Rick Mahorn. Those were great teams. The Tigers, the Bless You Boys Tigers in the 80s. The teams that went from 06 to 2014 didn't win a World Series, probably should have with the pitching staffs specifically that they had, but some great teams. The Lions, they drafted a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So, it hasn't been great, but it was in the past. Plus, you look at us now, Mo Sider, Lucas Raymond, Cade Cunningham, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The future is actually kind of bright here with Detroit sports. And we haven't even had to use like a silly phrase like the process to convince our fans that that's how things are going to go.
Okay. Well done. Now here's an interesting piece to throw into the judgment here. Although in terms of abilities, especially with Pennsylvania having 2 major cities involved here, the edge in talent would go to the Pennsylvania teams. But Paul, you did more with less, because what you did for the Red Wings and then reminding us about the Pistons back in those days, the 84 Tigers, we're going to give you the lawyer award for this one. Great argument by the prosecution. Maybe you stole one to make it 2-2.
My dad would be proud.
That's fair. That's fair.
The great state debate, round 5, Dave, Pete, Paul. We go to the prediction of the game. Michigan, Villanova. It's had a great setup. We come in, Michigan, about a 5-point underdog. The over-under of the game, 150. They're each team averaging 75.5. So they've both totaled 151 points. What type of style will we see? Who wants to take this one first and make the argument about what you're going to see in this game?
I'll go first. Okay. Yeah, this one is it could get ugly quick. The Villanova Wildcats are probably the most fundamentally sound team in the nation right now. They're facing a Michigan team who actually turned the ball over 15 times in their upset win over Tennessee. So that was a win. Imagine if they get dominated like they're supposed to, that could be well over 15. That could be well over 15 turnovers. And if they do turn over the ball anywhere close to that 15 times, giving the ball over to a team like Villanova that many times is going to make for a disaster for Michigan. Plus, at 82.6%, Villanova is the best free throw shooting team. So if Michigan doesn't play near flawless defense, this will become a huge factor, and it might get out of hand quickly. And lastly, the Wildcats have Colin Gillespie. He's one of the best point guards in the entire country, and he's been nothing short of incredible since he's been in Villanova. He's been clutch. I haven't seen the guy have a bad game on national television, and he was made for moments like this. And I think he will continue to dominate his way to the Elite Eight. I think the Villanova Wildcats win 83-70.
Okay, so if you're taking that down, that would also be an over on the
Yes,
135. But how about you, Paul? How do you see this game?
So I don't think it's going to get away from Michigan. I do think what we're seeing from them right now is a glimpse of the team that everybody thought they would be at the beginning of the season, that top five-ish team. They're starting to turn into that a little bit. They're getting Devontae Jones back. He's supposed to be playing on Thursday, which is going to be huge for them, even though Frankie Collins and Eli Brooks have really stepped up in his absence in the first couple tournament games. So that's been good to see for Michigan. They can get good backcourt play even without him. But this game is going to go through Hunter Dickinson. Villanova does not have the size to match up with Hunter Dickinson. And when Michigan goes through him and they work their offense through him, that's when they win games. He's the best player on the court for them. And I think that they're going to really rely on him. I don't see it being the blowout that you do. I see it being a little less, not quite as high scoring, I guess, although pretty close. I'm looking at like a 72-70-ish game. I think Michigan covers this one. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave some suspense for you. Who has the 72?
I like that. Well, in both cases, you guys have highlighted the over. And just a subsequent follow-up round, because this is the final one, just your opinions here. Now, Pete, Villanova was down to St. John's in the first round of the Big East by 17 points. And the second half, they came back and won, and they have been on a tight roll since then, winning a lot of close games and then catching their speed. Do you think what they accomplished in coming back against St. John's has been a springboard for them in the games that followed that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you come over that big of an adversity as a team, I think it's always a huge springboard. And then afterwards, just kind of keep climbing and climbing. I think it shows a lot of how Jay Wright coaches. These guys don't get rattled, and I think that's the main reason why they're so good. I mentioned Colin Gillespie. He's just one of the guys that these guys just don't get rattled. They could be down, they could be up by a lot. You see a lot of teams that are up by a lot in these games who almost blow it because they kind of get ahead of themselves. And this team kind of focuses on the small things, the things that you don't see on highlights, on highlight reels. They're a fundamentally sound team, and that's all thanks to Jay Wright. And I think he has these guys ready, whether they're playing a team. It doesn't matter if they're playing a 1 seed or an 11 seed. I think they're going to come in ready either way. That's why I'm pretty confident in this team.
Paul, Michigan threw the sports world on its ear with that victory over Tennessee, because a lot of people had seen Tennessee being the hottest team in the country in February, ticketed perhaps to win it all. There were a lot of people that thought Tennessee could go to the Final Four and do all that. What do you think Michigan found in these last couple games, and specifically against Tennessee, that they can carry over against Villanova?
I think toughness is the biggest thing. And that was something that, they've had some like late game collapses. I mean, you can go right back to that first game in the Big Ten tournament against Indiana when they were way up and just completely blew it. So doing what they did against Tennessee, it looked like they were dead in the water. I thought they were anyway. I think they went down 6 kind of later in the game, and they found something. And that is really important. And, there's a lot of leadership on that team. And I think that they're now kind of leaning on that a little bit more. The talent has always been there, really with the players that they have on that roster. They just haven't put it all together. So I really do think that they've found another gear, and toughness has really been the biggest thing for them.
Well, as we come to the end of this, here's the thing. I would want to go into battle in a courtroom with either one of you. Paul, I think you're a little bit more of a natural born lawyer and defender, and I'll give you a very, very slight edge in here, but I want to see you guys in a rematch of some kind. And I think that you guys did a great analysis of the game as well. So congratulations to good arguments on both sides.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Good job, Paul. Thanks.
Good job, Pete. It was fun.
Good.